News 4 begins with a Storm Team 4 weather alert.
And we are in weather alert tonight because of severe storms moving across our region. They triggered tornado warnings and caused flash flooding. The downpours and heavy winds made the evening commute difficult for drivers. It flooded intersections and roadways like Potomac, Maryland, there on your right, and on Friendship Heights in the district on your left. Or actually, we'll reverse those. But here's what it looks like outside right now in D.C. On the left there is National Harbor. The right is a live look over the city tonight. It looks like the storms have cleared out. Let's get right to, before we get right to Chief Meteorologist Doug Kammerer, let me say welcome you in to News 4 for the rundown on this Tuesday, July 28th. I'm Sean Yancey. Now let's get to Chief Meteorologist Doug Kammerer. So Doug, are we finished with the storms this evening?
Most areas are finished with the storms, but not everybody. We still have some going on out there. This is our resting camera looking off to the west. That is good news because our storms normally move west to east. So if we're looking to the west and all we're seeing is sunshine out there, yeah, we're looking at a better evening across the area right now towards Reston. And look at these numbers, temperatures of 70 degrees right now. We had a high temperature today of 90, so we're definitely on the cooler side of things. As this air mass has really moderated and really started to cool, we're seeing less and less of the chance for strong storms. Now, we still have them. Tornado watch still in effect in our southern zones. It does no longer include the D.C. metro area. There are a few storms well back towards the west, but in our area right now, we're just about done northwest of D.C. This is the last 4 hours, and notice the strong storms working their way through, came all the way through the district and then down to the south, continuing to see those as well. You can see the areas that are under the tornado watch. That continues into Stafford County and Charles County and points to the south and east. But we're really done, I think, with the tornadic threat, at least the watches. Most of these storms still going on in and around southern parts of Fauquier County into Culpeper County. Fredericksburg, you're going to get hit again with some pretty good storms, but nothing too strong. The heaviest storms now around Leonardtown and towards St. Mary's County. And then this storm right here moving across from Sunderland over towards the Tillman Island area and over towards St. Michael's. Very strong storm there, but fortunately it is moving out and away from our region. Now, as we move in towards the city, we still have a flash flood warning in effect, that until 9:30 tonight, but the rain is gone, and we're starting to see the flash flood threat really diminish. Speaking of the things diminishing, take a look at this. Out towards National Harbor, or rather Nats Park right now, is just talking to John Turnauer over there at Nats Park, the head groundskeeper, and they're going to try to get this game going tonight at 7:50. A great turnaround for them after dumping nearly an inch of rain in just under a half an hour. They saw a ton of rain very, very quickly, but they are going to try to get that game in tonight down there at Nats Park if you were thinking about heading down to that game. Now, farther again, south and west, where are we still seeing it? In through Culpeper. Pretty good storm right here that's going to work its way right down 17 towards Fredericksburg. So Fredericksburg, you've seen a lot of rain already. You're going to get in on more of that rain. But again, I think our severe threat is just about done. And you see what's happening now north and west of D.C. There is no more watches or warnings. Now, we do have a couple of showers up around the Hagerstown area. You see those making their way right over 70. Another couple trying to form back in towards parts of West Virginia and Western Maryland. These will still try to work their way in, but now we're losing daytime heating, so they're not going to have that severe potential that they still have over towards the east. I mean, look at what's going on over towards Dover, over towards areas like Rehoboth and Lewis, Delaware, where they're still under tornado watches at this time. As we see those storms move out, I'll continue to keep you posted on what to expect as we make our way through the rest of the night, especially for you folks down to the south. I'll be back with you guys in just about 10 minutes.
All right, we'll see you then. Doug, thank you. We'll be working for you all evening, as Doug mentioned, to keep you updated on the severe weather that's affecting the region. You can have updates sent straight to your phone via the free NBC Washington mobile app. You can download it from your app store. All right, here's a look at some of the other stories we're following. Rescue crews will resume their search tomorrow for a swimmer last seen in the Potomac River. The poor weather forced crews to call off the search. A 25-year-old man jumped into the river just south of Sandy Landing around 1:30 this afternoon. Chopper 4 was over the scene earlier as multiple rescue boats searched the water for hours. This is the same area of the Potomac River where two other swimmers drowned earlier this summer in separate incidents. Fairfax County Police shot a man today after they say he lunged for and grabbed an officer's gun. It happened in a wooded area in Annandale while the officers were searching for the man after he was accused of threatening his wife with a knife. That man is expected to survive. Police say charges against the man are now pending. When students in Montgomery County Public Schools head back to class this fall, they likely won't be allowed to use their cell phones during the school day. It will be a big change for high school students who were previously allowed to use their phones when they were not in class. Outgoing D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser declined to sign the district's 2027 budget. She warned it leaves the city's next mayor with a significant financial challenge. Mayor Bowser sent a letter to the council chair that said the budget relies too heavily on one-time funding and leaves behind what she called an $837 million fiscal cliff. The D.C. Council approved the spending plan last month after it restored funding for programs that Mayor Bowser proposed cutting, which include paid family leave, housing vouchers, and salary supplements for early childhood educators. Developing tonight in Prince George's County, Maryland, the former head of the county planning board filed a lawsuit against the county over what he called his forced resignation and a public campaign of unadjudicated accusations against him. Our Tracy Wilkins broke the story today on social media. The News4 I team obtained a copy of the lawsuit filed today. In it, Darryl Barnes also named County Executive Aisha Braveboy and Council President Crystal Oriata as defendants. Braveboy nominated Barnes to the planning board last year, but he resigned in May after complaints raised in a confidential memo by an attorney for the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission were made public. At that time, the News4 I team reported those concerns, in which the commission's attorney accused Barnes of abusing his chairmanship by trying to pressure staff to hire family members, attempting to direct vendor contracts to friends, and more. Barnes, a former state delegate, refuted the claims to News4 and in today's filing. In the lawsuit, he accuses the county executive and the council chair and others of wrongly spreading allegations of misconduct, ethics violations, and abuse of office. He also states in the lawsuit he was compelled to resign because of pressure from Aisha Braveboy and her associates, despite no finding of wrongdoing. He also claims he was retaliated against for opposing the council's handling of project charges, money for nonprofits. News4 reached out to the county executive's office and the county council for comment. We have not yet received a response. A group of D.C. neighbors are nervous to go outside in their own community. The reason? They told us one of their neighbors has more than a dozen dogs inside their home, and some of them are pit bulls. News4 obtained documents that show police have been called to the house more than once, and in one case, the dog's owner was bitten by their own pets. News4's Dominique Moody was in the Petworth community and has a story you will see only on 4.
In this video shared with News4, it shows multiple dogs in this backyard of a Northwest D.C. home. The person in the video can be heard cursing at the dogs while they move around. It comes after neighbors say they've raised concerns to community leaders in D.C. Animal Control about the treatment of the dogs, number of dogs, and the dangerous alleged incidents they say have occurred in the neighborhood.
It appears to be multiple litters at this point coming in and through that house.
In another video shared with News4, you see two neighbors out walking their dog. Across the street, you can see several dogs inside of a fence. Then two of the dogs get out. Both dogs run out of the camera's view. Seconds later, the neighbors return, one of them holding their dog in the air, while the dog's in question jumps at her.
A lot of chaos in the moment. We heard shouting, so we came out, and a lot of us, I believe, in the neighboring areas witnessed it.
News4 obtained a police report filed last December in which a woman states she was part of an incident involving her dog and her neighbor's dogs. In the report, the woman states that the neighbor threatened her, saying, "Next time I see you outside, I'm going to beat the expletive out of you."
And complain that we see what's happening and we have videos, and we've received threats from this particular neighbor every time we do it.
You're doing what you want. I don't give a You're gonna watch your mouth.
That's one of the videos shared with News4. In the video, you can hear a woman yelling out curse words. Neighbors say that was directed at another resident. According to a second police report filed this month, police were called to the same Iowa Avenue home for a dog attack involving 3 dogs. The document reveals 2 dog owners were bitten while trying to separate the dogs. Both people were treated by EMS. That police report also reveals that Washington Humane Society responded to the incident, took custody of one of the dogs involved in the attack, and D.C. police were informed that there was an open case involving animals at the home with D.C. Animal Control.
It's really upsetting, and it's also highly irresponsible.
News4 attempted to speak with the dog owners in question to ask how many dogs are living at the property and get their response to concerns from neighbors. One woman spoke with us off camera but didn't provide details. We were asked to leave the property by another person inside the home moments later. News 4 reached out to DC's Animal Control to get the details of the incident mentioned in the most recent police report. We also asked how these types of complaints are handled and what the rules are for how many animals a DC resident can own. We were directed to reach out to Brandywine Valley's SPCA. According to neighbors, they've reached out to their ANC commissioner, DC Council, and Animal Control, but haven't seen or received any follow-up. They say they don't want to see the dogs be put down, but are hoping for actions and solutions.
I don't want them to be put down. I don't think it's the dog's fault necessarily. I'd like dogs to be in a safe environment, out of harm's way.
In the district, Dominique Moody, News 4.
The Brandywine Valley SPCA sent us a statement that said, in part, the Brandywine Valley SPCA, in partnership, has worked with us, this resident of the Iowa Avenue home, with regards to the dogs in their care. This month, the owner has surrendered 11 dogs. The 2 dogs involved in the July 7th incident were also surrendered and are no longer in the home. All right, the News 4 Rundown continues after this break. We're looking at concerns about flash flooding. Doug's tracking the very latest for us tonight. Doug?
Yeah, still have some heavy rain in parts of southern Maryland, also over towards areas like Fredericksburg. If you're down around Fredericksburg, we got more heavy rain working its way your way. We'll talk about what to expect as we move on through not only the next couple of days, but the next week. I'll see you back here in just a few.
All right, we're in weather alert mode this evening, back with a live look at the skies over Ashburn, Virginia. You can see the storms that are rolling in out there. The daylight quickly got a little bit darker, and then we're seeing images now where it looks like the sun is back out again. So where do we stand tonight on what's going on? Look at it get really, really dark. Yeah, as those storms are moving into Ashburn a little bit earlier. Good news is that it's all done. Ashburn to the north. Almost. Oh, almost.
Almost all
okay,
done.
Okay.
I'm tracking a couple of showers up toward the north, toward the Pennsylvania border that are trying to work their way on through. But most of us are done for now. We're starting to see things get a little better out there. But we do have numerous damage reports. Brandywine, for example, a house or a tree into a house near the zoo tonight. The zoo saw a tree down along Connecticut Avenue near Connecticut and Van Ness. Saw a tree down there. We did see winds gusting upwards of 70 miles per hour. That was at the airport in Fredericksburg, and that was right around the time we had a tornado potentially on the ground there. So watching out there right now, and we're looking much better. Now you look off toward the west. Look at these clouds here. This is actually a distant storm trying to work its way down in towards our area. But right now we see some sunshine out there and a pretty nice evening. High temperature today got to 90 degrees in the city, 83 Hagerstown, 86 in Richmond. Humidity was definitely out there too. So we saw a heat index of 96, 97 degrees at one point today. So we had the heat, we had the humidity, we had everything we needed for a storm. Those storms move through, and look where we are now, 70 degrees outside. It is really a nice night where the rain has stopped, and you can see what's happening. We still have the rain and the severe weather right along the coast here, including areas like Philadelphia and towards areas like Rehoboth Beach and Ocean City, down towards Norfolk. There's a couple of tornado warnings down around Norfolk, also down around Raleigh and towards North Carolina. But most of our area is now on the dry side. You see the storms that worked their way through over the last 4 hours or so. Notice no coloring around the D.C. metro area. We have some yellow down to the south. Those are tornado watches, including Charles County and parts of southern Maryland. But the tornado threat's really about gone in those areas. We still have some stronger storms in through Stafford County, down around Fredericksburg. You'll see some more rain, but those are starting to fall apart as well. And you notice we have some lightning, but look at all the lightning down here. This is right around the Montrose area. That's where we're seeing the heaviest. And then over towards the eastern shore, including around Easton and down towards Cambridge. This is an area that actually had a confirmed tornado earlier, crossed right over 50 apparently. So you know your way around that region. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Right now, though, Deal down to Calvert Beach, couple of showers in through Calvert County, but that's it. Earlier, D.C., we had a flash flood warning. That's no longer there. So that's good news. That was just canceled. Wasn't effective until 9:30, but just canceled as we are no longer seeing any kind of flooding around the metro area. But we just have to watch areas like Culpeper, farther back to the west. This is a region that did have numerous reports of trees down, especially closer to the Fredericksburg and Spotsylvania County areas. Now the whole system working its way on out. Not quite done, though. We have a couple of showers and storms up to the north, trying to work their way back down through areas like Paw Paw and Hancock. This one's actually intensifying working its way right towards Martinsburg. So heads up along I-81. You might see some more of these work their way on through. I don't expect them to get too much stronger than this, but of course it's something that we'll continue to track for you. Now, as we make our way through the next couple of days, what are we dealing with? Well, nice weather. 85, lower humidity tomorrow, a little bit on the breezy side. 85 on Thursday, same deal. 87 on Friday. I'm thinking a fantastic Friday. Saturday looks good with a high of 89. Sunday, we start to turn the corner back into more of a summer-like pattern where we're looking at rather humid conditions and a chance of showers and storms pretty much each day as we get back into the low 90s as we make our way towards the end of next week. But all in all, not a bad forecast, especially over the next couple of days. So that's some good news there. Especially, I love it. Anytime I can say, fantastic Friday. That's what we like to see, Sean.
We love fantastic Fridays around here. All right. Thank you, Doug. The data center debate in Montgomery County, Maryland continues. Today, the county council approved an 18-month moratorium on data centers. That means none can be built within the county for at least 18 months. It replaces the 6-month moratorium currently in place. It also allows the council more time to establish criteria for new data centers in the county.
Nothing will happen until we answer all the questions our community deserves. There are a lot of questions about what happens to the water in the Potomac River, what happens to our utility bill ratepayers, and what happens to the community as a whole.
The state of Maryland is now conducting a comprehensive study on the impact of data centers. That report is due in September. Well, tonight, there are questions about whether Montgomery County firefighters who responded to an emergency may have violated a new law that limits their cooperation with ICE. Last Wednesday, Park police officers and federal immigration authorities were seen chasing 3 men on Clara Barton Parkway. Montgomery County Fire and Rescue was called to the scene after reports that some of the people who ran may have jumped into the Potomac River. A county council member said the situation created a difficult balance. First responders must answer emergency calls, but any type of cooperation with federal immigration authorities could violate the county's Trust Act. News 4's Mauricio Casillas has the latest.
In this video shared with News 4 by a driver on Clara Barton Parkway last Wednesday, several people can be seen running. According to Park police, officers were conducting commercial vehicle enforcement in the area alongside other federal agencies when 3 people exited a vehicle and ran. Montgomery County Fire and Rescue was called because it was believed that some of the people who fled the stop may have jumped into the nearby Potomac River. In the end, no water rescue was needed, as authorities said 2 of the people who fled were ultimately apprehended by immigration agents.
What this shows is that there is more scenario planning that we can do and that we need to do to make sure that we are prepared and we are ahead of this federal government in the actions that they are taking.
Councilmember Kristen Mink says MCFRS crews did nothing wrong and acted correctly, but she expressed concerns over a potential perception that first responders were collaborating with ICE, which would be a violation of the county's Trust Act. The union representing Montgomery County firefighters pushed back against the idea that they violated the law. And in a letter sent to Councilmember Mink, the union president said, quote, "We answer every call without hesitation because personal beliefs and politics have no place in the emergency services we provide. When someone calls 911, we do not ask what they believe, how they voted, where they were born, or whom they support," end quote. Montgomery County Council President Natalie Fanny Gonzalez said she doesn't believe the Trust Act was violated in this case and praised the work of first responders.
The real problem is what this federal government is doing. They're terrorizing community members to the point that people felt that they needed to run to the river to hide. I mean, that's how desperate things and people are. And I think that's the story.
CASA, one of the organizations that worked with the county to get the Trust Act approved, says it's concerned because they don't want situations like this to discourage members of the immigrant community from calling 911.
If that means there needs to be additional training, additional oversight, more specific policies, the county needs to take those steps so that our fire and rescue officers, they know exactly what they're supposed to do when a situation like this occurs.
Montgomery County Police also responded to the scene. Authorities say officers did not participate in the pursuit, detention, apprehension, or enforcement actions associated with the federal agents. In Montgomery County, Mauricio Casillas, News 4.
When we come back, the countdown to the midterm election and how young people are hoping to lead the way. The countdown is on to the crucial midterm election. Just 98 days until voters head to the polls. Their votes could shift the balance of power in Congress. after rare mid-decade redistricting efforts coupled with the Supreme Court's weakening of the landmark Voting Rights Act. In the lead up to November, some voters, especially black women, are expressing exhaustion with our political system. A recent article in Ebony magazine explored why politically active black women are feeling exhausted. According to the article, it stems from the results of the 2024 presidential election. According to polls, 92% of black women, who represent 7% of the voting population, voted for Kamala Harris, but their votes were not enough to propel their choice into office. As we prepare for another critical vote, black women are once again asking what role they play in our nation's democracy, while also hoping to ignite the fire in younger voters. Harley Williams is a rising junior at Harvard University and the founder of Black Girls Govern, a nonpartisan nonprofit that empowers the next generation of black girl civic leaders. Harley, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Sean.
All right, so we know your organization is hosting an event in the district this weekend, but before we get to that, I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on this political exhaustion that we've been hearing about that so many black women are facing heading into the midterms?
Yes, so what I'm hearing from young black girls across the country, and honestly what I'm feeling myself, is that there's a real sense of political exhaustion. But exhaustion does not mean disengagement. We understand that our voices and our votes matter. So our response is not to give up. It is to build community and to stay engaged. At Black Girls Govern, we're helping make civic engagement something that feels accessible and empowering and a part of everyday life. So we're bringing an ambassadors program on college campuses across the nation to drive civic engagement, and we're hoping that Black women are going to be elected up and down the ballot because representation is really important.
Let me ask you about how you guys are working to actually change that exhaustion we've been hearing about, and how are you doing? Give me specifics of how you're trying to empower this next generation of civic leaders on campuses nationwide.
Yeah, so Black Girls Govern is a nonprofit organization dedicated to empowering the next generation of Black girl civic leaders, and our vision is very clear. We are hoping to create a civic home for Black girls. We're bringing that vision to Washington, D.C. and across the nation. So on our college ambassadors program, the girls are going to host voter education workshops, but we're also hosting the Mixer here in Washington, D.C., which I know we'll talk about a little bit later.
Yeah, before we get to that, let me ask you, you're a rising junior at Harvard University. A lot of your classmates, they understand, going to vote, but you've taken this to a whole nother level. What inspired you to get involved in the political process and create Black Girls Govern?
What inspired me really comes from my own lived experience. Growing up in Florida, I saw firsthand how public policy affected my family, my schools, and my community. And I also noticed that opportunities to learn about government and civic leadership often were not accessible. And when they were, I was frequently the only Black girl in the room and rarely saw elected officials who were Black women. And I wanted to change that. And so as a first-generation college student, I took a leap of faith and I applied to Harvard, where I now study government. And from there, I've been committed to closing the representation and access gap for Black girls so that they don't have to just learn about government, but they can also see themselves as leaders who can shape it.
Harley, finally, we talked a little bit about the event you're hosting in D.C. this weekend. Tell us more about it, who this event is for, and how can people get involved?
Yeah, of course. So the Black Girls Govern Mixer is a space for Black girls and young women to connect, build community, and expand their networks. We'll hear from leaders with experience in the Biden-Harris White House, the Motion Picture Association, and a special video message from Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. The Mixer is this Saturday, August 1st, from 5 to 7 p.m. at Sycamore and Oak in Washington, D.C., and people can RSVP at blackgirlsgovern.org.
All right, Harley Williams, founder of Black Girls Govern, thank you so much for joining us. We certainly appreciate your perspective.
Thank you so much, Sean.
All right, finally tonight, we've been hit with all kinds of crazy weather today.
Yeah.
Doug, take us out of here. What can we expect rolling into the rest of the evening?
Well, the good news is it's almost all gone. At least the biggest storms of the severe weather threat moving out. We still have some thunderstorms around Fredericksburg, but most of this is out of there. A few more to the north around Hagerstown, trying to work down towards Martinsburg. But once again, most of us are done, Sean, and we're pretty much done with that for a while now. Next couple of days looking great.
Thank goodness. We're looking forward to those next couple of days. Good night, everybody. We'll see you back here.